Hello and welcome to my channel, Making Crafts. I am back with Pure Poppies by My Favorite Things, and I received this from the Not Too Shabby shop for my design team project for this month, so I will link to it below. And the link that I use is an affiliate link for me, so if you purchase through that link, or you click that link and you purchase, then I receive just a little bit from that, and so it helps me out just a little bit. I'm also going to be using 110-pound cardstock, and I've gone ahead and cut out some frames. I wanted rectangular frames, but I didn't have it, so you can use whatever you want. If you have rectangular dies, then you could use those instead. But this is what I had, so I used them, and I cut out 3 out of the 110-pound cardstock. And we're going to layer these up in a little bit. I've also gone ahead and cut out a tag that measures 3 by 6. And I've gone ahead and stamped my flower. I used alcohol ink or alcohol marker to color in the leaves and stem. And then for the top of the flower, I'm going to be using one of the leftover pieces from last week. So if you saw my video last week, I showed you how to create this easy watercolor technique to color in your flowers. And it is super simple, so if you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the upper right hand corner of this video. Also, I will put it in the description if you want to see how I created these. So we're going to be doing some mixed media on this tag, so I have brought out some parchment paper to protect my work surface. Hopefully it'll be big enough. I am going to be using some spray, so hopefully I don't make too big of a mess. So I want to get started on the tag first because it needs to be drying while we put all the other pieces together. So I am going to be using some distressed texture paste. So I do want to start out by adding some texture paste and stenciling this. So I went to my stash and just found some old stencils that I have, and yes, they are in rough shape, but that's okay, they still work. And so I just want to add a little texture to this tag, to the background. So I think I'll just pick different spots on this stencil and use that. Okay, and I'm just going to add the texture paste straight to the 110-pound cardstock. This is just going to be in the background of our tag. I'm just going to add some to the bottom right corner, and then, and my stencil has a little ink on it, so you can see it kind of got into this texture paste, but that's okay because we're going to color this up anyway, so it's not really going to matter. And then I'll add, let's see how I can turn this so I don't actually mess up what I've already done. So I'll just add a little bit here. I think I want to go with the same stencil though, so let me see if I can add it up here without touching the other. I'm going to let that be gentle there. We're going to be very gentle, not push down on it. We're pushing down on the stencil, but not on this side. Not on the side where we already have paste. So I'm just trying to fill it in really good. And I'm thinking this tag would make a great decoration on the cover of a journal. So we got this. Let me see if I can clean some of this stuff out of my way real quick. So we're going to lay this aside to dry, and I think that's all the texture that I want in the background. I don't want to overdo it, so I'm going to lay it aside to dry, and then we will come back to it. So let's go ahead and work on our other pieces while we're waiting for it to dry. So the first thing I want to do is glue all of these frames together so that I want a thick frame, but I didn't want to run any type of cardboard or anything through my Big Shot, so I decided to just layer up these. And I think this will be enough thickness with the 110-pound cardstock, layering the 3 together. Okay, so I sped that up a bit, but there we have our frame, and I think that's going to be thick enough, so I'm going to lay it aside with the tag, and let's layer up our flower. So for our flower, when I fussy cut it, I will tell you that I accidentally cut this leaf off, so I just glued it back on, and I had to leave just a little extra white here in order for this leaf to stay on. So then I may go back and add some ink or something in there to cover that up in a few minutes. But I'm going to first add the watercolor piece to our flower. And we'll have our flower ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to lay that aside, and let's pull our tag back out and see if it's dry. So the tag is almost dry, so I'm going to use my heat tool to just dry it just a little bit more. So now that my texture paste is dry, I'm going to go ahead and add some sprays to it. And since this is just 110-pound cardstock, it is going to start to wrinkle on you and start puckering. But once I get done, I'm going to add this to a piece of cardboard or chipboard. I feel like it'll be cardboard because cardboard is easier to cut by hand, so that's what I will probably back it with. So I'm going to use my Dina, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Wakely Media Gloss Spray. I'm using Lime, Cheddar, and Ocean. This is the 3 colors I pulled out. I may change my mind and not use all 3, but let's just start spraying and see what we get. I love using these sprays. I love how bright the lime green and things are and the blue is. And I probably should have tested my sprays before I started spraying because sometimes they do dry on the end. I do not clean mine perfectly like you should. That one's not spraying the best today, but I will go back and fix that. So you'll see the texture paste is going to start showing better now that we added the color to it. So my sprays are clogged a little bit. That's okay because I don't need a perfect spray because I am just trying to pat it and blend it in. And also these colors will not mix. So once you spray it, it's only filling in the white space. So I'm liking how this is looking. So I'm just going to keep adding color till I get it exactly like I want it. So I'm just putting in a little bit. I want to get the texture paste covered. I just want it mixed up a little. And I kind of like the white showing through of the texture paste, so I'm just dabbing the paint off a little bit with my paper towel so you can see that. So our next piece we need to paint up is our frame, and I want the frame to kind of stand out on top here, so I got to figure out what color I want to do for it. Let's do the frame in the cheddar and see how that looks. Maybe not colored in solid, just kind of lightly do it. And then we'll just lay that on there and see. I think that's going to be very pretty. So now that my tag and frame are dry, I'm just going to go back around the edges with some Distressed Oxide, the Ground Espresso, just to kind of frame it all out, just to finish it off. There, it's very light, but it does kind of frame it out. Let me see how it looks on the tag. I may have to choose a darker color if it doesn't frame it out enough. I think that's good. I think that finishes it off enough. So while I was waiting for this to dry, I did go ahead with my flower and I took an alcohol marker and colored in any of the white space where I had cut it out where the green was. I colored it in so there's no white space. So now I'm just going to add the frame and I'm going to add the flower to this. So now I have everything layered up. I'm going to come back with my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut out a piece of cardboard to thicken up this tag. It is a bit flimsy from adding all of the ink and things to it. So I'm not cutting all the way through because I don't want to cut on this mat. This is my good mat. Then I'm going to bring in my older mat underneath it. So this is the one I used for cutting. I got this at the Dollar Tree, and so I don't mind destroying it. Because it was only, well, it was $1.25 now. I was going to say it's only $1. Okay. I just need to measure this up, just matching it up some. So I need to come across the bottom here. So I'm going to turn that around. That probably wasn't the best idea, so let me turn it this way. I'm going to lay it here, just getting the size that I need. And this is just a coffee K-cup box, the box that my K-cups came in. I just tore a flap off of it. Because I plan on using this tag as a topper on a journal, so it's not really going to matter what's behind it, just so it's something that thickens it up. So I'm just going to mark my spot right there. Use my ruler. It's really nothing exact to it. Just trying to cut out a rectangle right now. Then we'll worry about the angles on my tag. So let's just see here. So I'm just going to lightly mark it. And then we'll cut those off. And that's the thing with your X-Acto knife. If you just take your time and just keep slicing, don't worry about getting the cutting all the way through the first time, you'll be better off. That's what I had to learn. So then I'm just going to glue it on there, and then I'll punch a hole in it as well. So here is the completed tag. I really like how it turned out. I did go and add the word "Be Authentic" from a Tim Holtz sayings pack, and then I added some muslin fabric as the ribbon on it, and there was just a strip I had torn off a piece of fabric. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I created this tag, and I hope it inspires you to create something today. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.